I recently observed and watched a discussion in which Niall Ferguson, the Scottish British American Scottish British American journalist, was taking part. This discussion was about populism. He said, very well observed, that populism is very often confused with fascism, and it's something completely different. Fascism is all about giving to the people the new and sometimes imposing with force uh, some new forms of social life and social organization. Usually, fascism was always referring to the militaristic style. In fact, the first fascists were people who experienced World War I, and after going home, when they had gone home from the front of World War I, they decided to militarize the social life, and it was seen as something very modern, very energetic, and tempting. And this was tempting, and many peoples have chosen fascists, especially because they had fear from communism, very justified fear, and fascism, very similarly to communism, was seen as something modern, and people were not understanding the liberal democracy concept, and were thinking that some sort of militaristic, nationalistic government would be far better, or a socialist also better. So fascism is very constructivist. Usually, it imposes a new order on people, and populism is something completely different. Populism is usually giving to people what they want. If the people is, I don't know, 70% for death penalty, they are giving the death penalty. And when they are like they want to protect their own their own resources, their own economical stability from the world by protectionism, by protectionist legislation, of course, give it to the people. When they want to have done something about taxes, lower the taxes, for instance, of course, the taxes will be lowered. And this is what Trump is promising. This is what Berlusconi has done. But it's very, as you may see very clearly, and Niall Ferguson is 100% right. It's something which is deconstructivist, politically. So we are the government, the populist government, would do only what the people would want. Like in 19th century, the people predominantly wanted the protectionist economical policy in relation to the to abroad, to other countries, and the protectionist policy was implemented there. Then, causing the first closing of the international world free market. And so that would be populism. So something completely different. The very curious case is Putin. Vladimir Putin is sometimes viewed as populist, and sometimes he is viewed as nationalistic or fascist. I think he's closer to fascism, closer to fascist, because something which would be very populistic to do would be to get to find some common ground with the Western European countries and with the USA, and to secure the liquidation of the economical boycott towards Russia. And Russia is suffering from this boycott, from this embargo. But the people, they are trained by the press. There are absolutely no free press in Russia today. So the press is totally controlled by the government. So when the people are reading about it, and they are usually convinced by the government to be brave and to accept this embargo, and to be still adherents of Putin's policy. But it's not very populistic. More populistic would be this, rather fascist. You see the imposing of something, and telling people that it is what they want. The populists would do something completely different. Just that they would go just the other way around. They would go to the people and listen what the people want, and then give it to them. So I don't know, lower taxes for vodka, lower taxes altogether. That would be something populist. Of course, Putin has lowered the populist element in his all like more fascist like policy.